Well, I can kind of sum it up in one story. 95 American League Championship Series. We were my couple of my buddies. We were in high school, and we stayed up, to watch them win it. And it was a school night, and my mom was a teacher in the district that I went to high school in Berea. And so, I didn't get to play hooky or call off or whatever. When you're a teacher's kid, you don't get to do those things. But it was such a big deal. We wanted to drive to the airport. My buddies and I were like, we want to meet the tribe at the airport when they get back on the plane from Seattle. And so we figured out, like, this was, pre-internet days. So like we were going based off of what they were saying on the news, and we stayed up all night, and my mom actually was like, you know what, go for it. And, and you can take the day off tomorrow. And we tried driving to the airport, but there were so many people trying to do the same thing as us. Like, we couldn't even get anywhere near Hopkins.
Wow.
And so we ended up turning around and going back and sleeping finally a little bit. But,
got the day off at least.
But those teams, I mean, I was at the game where Jim Thome hit the home run against the Mariners, I believe Randy Johnson. And it was freezing, freezing cold, but there was just such an energy. And I honestly, the only time, I really felt like, okay, the Jake might, like the upper deck might come crashing down on us, it was on that home run. I mean, because the whole place just shook, and it was nuts. And those teams were, I mean, after all the years of losing and not living up to the hype, and just some, let's face it, just some really bad teams that went through and some bad times, and to have that was, we could hang our hat on it. Even though we didn't win the World Series, we could hang our hat on the fact that we had the Indians, and especially during a time when the Browns had just left.
Exactly.
I mean, God, we needed that. I firmly believe that the tribe, saved sports in our city during that time.
I agree. I mean, the Cavs, the Price and Doherty era was kind of ending, so they weren't as exciting. And of course, the Browns left. It was the Indians. I mean, there was no question about it. And it was kind of the perfect storm. I mean, the only thing they didn't do is win the World Series. They did everything else. I mean, every year was exciting. They had superstars, Hall of Famers. That place was packed. I mean, my dad had season tickets on the first base line, 12 rows back. And again, I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have back then. And I look back now and I'm like, I mean, it was just, we were there actually the game they clinched the playoffs for the first time in 41 years. And I remember my dad, someone held me up. I can't remember if it was my brother or somebody. And I was 12 then. Mm-hmm. I remember Jim Thome caught the ball at third base, and just people were just going, I mean, it was insane. It was like Christmas.
Pandemonium.
It was unbelievable. And I'll never, again, I was so young. It's a great childhood memory, but I kind of wish I was a little bit older so I could have taken in a little bit more. I didn't understand how special it was at the time.
Yeah, I was, in my high school years at that point in time, and into college in 97, I was in college, and, it was awesome. And I think back on all those games. I mean, every time you went, it didn't matter. I mean, you didn't leave. I mean, if the tribe was down 6 runs in the 7th inning, you didn't leave with that team, because they could just flip a switch and hit back-to-back home runs and be in the game. And if Kenny Lofton was on base, I don't care if it was first, second, or third, if he was on base in a tie game, you knew he was gonna score. If he had any ground ball, it doesn't matter. He was scoring from second, and it was phenomenal.